Hey there, Bitcoin Explorer. Ever since some Bitcoin, I wondered, what's the deal with that string of characters they call an address? That thing that looks kind of like a typo at a keyboard factory.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Well, get this. Those addresses, they're, uh, they're more than meets the eye, and today we're diving deep into why there are different kinds and what they mean for you.
It's true. We've got Legacy, Segwit, Taproot, each with its own quirks and advantages. It's like the evolution of, say, sending a message. We've gone from snail mail to email to instant messaging. They all work, but some are faster, cheaper, more secure.
Okay, so let's break this down, starting with the basics. We know a Bitcoin address is like a digital mailbox for your Bitcoin.
Exactly.
But the thing that tripped me up at first was, why are there different types of addresses? Couldn't they have just stuck with one?
Well, like any good tech, Bitcoin is always evolving to be better, faster, more efficient.
Right.
And as Bitcoin grew, developers realized the original addresses, what we now call legacy addresses, had some limitations.
Ah, so legacy addresses, they're like the first generation, the pioneers.
Precisely. They paved the way, but just like that first clunky cell phone you might have had, they aren't the most efficient these days.
Okay, so if we're ditching the clunky cell phone of addresses, what makes legacy addresses less ideal now? Spill the tea.
For starters, legacy addresses tend to mean higher transaction fees.
Okay.
Remember, Bitcoin transactions happen on the blockchain, and space on that blockchain, it's valuable.
Right.
Legacy addresses are like that big package you try to squeeze into a small mailbox. It just costs more.
So using a legacy address is like paying extra for standard shipping when you could be getting free 2-day delivery with a newer address type. Ouch. No thanks, I'm already feeling the pain in my metaphorical wallet. That's a great way to put it. And it's not just about the fees. They also don't support some of the cool new features that came along later. Features that make Bitcoin transactions smoother, faster, even more private.
All right, I'm definitely getting the message that if I want to make the most of my Bitcoin, legacy addresses are a no-go. So if legacy addresses are out, what's the upgrade path? What's the sleek smartphone equivalent in the world of Bitcoin addresses?
That would be Segwit addresses. Introduced in 2017, Segwit stands for segregated witness, but
Oh boy.
don't let the technical jargon scare you.
Segwit. It does sound kind of like a fancy new tech gadget, right? It kind of is. Imagine you're sending a package, and instead of stuffing the itemized receipt inside, you detach it and send it separately. That's essentially what Segwit does with Bitcoin transactions.
Right.
It separates the signature data, which is like that receipt, from the main transaction data.
So we're talking about decluttering and streamlining the whole process. I'm all about that minimalist life, even with my Bitcoin transactions.
Exactly. And this separation has some major perks. First, it reduces the amount of space the transaction takes up on the blockchain, which, as we talked about, directly translates to lower fees for you.
Music to my ears. Anything that saves me some Satoshis is a win in my book.
And there's more. Segwit also paves the way for faster transaction confirmations because with smaller transaction sizes, more transactions can fit into each block. It's like going from a traffic jam to a clear, open highway.
Okay, I'm sold on the whole efficiency thing. But hold on, you mentioned Segwit addresses come in two flavors, nested Segwit and native Segwit. What's the deal with that?
Think of nested Segwit, which you'll recognize by addresses starting with a 3 as a stepping stone. It offered a good solution for users transitioning from those older legacy wallets, but native Segwit with addresses starting with BC1, that's the real game changer. It's like going from standard Segwit to Segwit Pro, even smoother, faster, and more cost-effective.
So native Segwit is the one to look out for if I want the best of the best.
Absolutely. And the good news is most modern wallets and exchanges are fully on board with native Segwit, so compatibility shouldn't be an issue.
That's a relief. I don't want to have to dig out my old flip phone just to send some Bitcoin. But now I'm curious, if Segwit is like upgrading to a smartphone, what comes next? Are we talking about the futuristic holographic phone of Bitcoin addresses?
Well, you're not far off. Buckle up, because Bitcoin didn't stop at Segwit. Enter Taproot, the latest and greatest upgrade to hit the Bitcoin network. And trust me, it's a big deal.
Ooh, I'm intrigued. Lay it on me. What makes Taproot so special? What can it do that Segwit can't?
Taproot takes things a step further in terms of both privacy and functionality. Imagine being able to send a postcard and a sealed envelope, and they both look exactly the same from the outside. No one can tell what's inside except the recipient. That's the kind of privacy boost Taproot offers. It makes complex transactions, even those involving smart contracts.
Hold up, smart contracts. We're getting a bit technical here. Could you give me a quick ELI 5 on what those are?
Of course! Think of a smart contract like a vending machine. You put in your money, make your selection, and the machine automatically dispenses your snack. No need for a human intermediary.
So smart contracts are like automated agreements. That sounds incredibly useful.
Exactly. And Taproot enables these complex transactions to be tucked away discreetly on the blockchain, appearing no different from your everyday Bitcoin transaction. No more snooping eyes trying to analyze your spending habits.
Okay, now that's what I call next level privacy. And I'm guessing this also means even lower fees since we're getting better at packing more into each transaction.
You got it. Taproot builds upon the efficiency of Segwit, shrinking things down even further and making transactions even more cost-effective.
Taproot sounds pretty amazing so far. But it's still relatively new on the scene, right? Is it widely supported yet?
You're right, Taproot adoption is still growing. Not all wallets and exchanges have fully integrated it yet. So while it holds immense potential, it's essential to do your homework before diving in headfirst.
Good point.
Yeah.
The last thing I want is to send my Bitcoin to a digital black hole because my wallet isn't quite Taproot ready. So we've got Legacy, the first generation, Segwit, the upgrade, and Taproot, the futuristic one.
Yeah.
How do I know which address type is right for me?
Choosing the right address is like picking the right tool for the job. It depends on your priorities. If you're using a modern wallet or exchange, chances are you're already good to go with at least Segwit.
And what about Taproot? Should I be using that whenever possible?
Taproot is fantastic if privacy and being on the cutting edge are top priorities for you. Just double check that your wallet or exchange supports it. And if you're stuck with an older platform still using legacy addresses, well, you've got some upgrading to do.
Got it. So for most of us, Segwit is a safe bet, and Taproot is the exciting new frontier to keep an eye on. It's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it. You know, this whole world of different Bitcoin addresses kind of hidden beneath the surface.
Yeah.
It's like discovering there are like different lanes on the information superhighway, each with like its own speed limit and cost.
It's a great analogy. And just like with choosing your lane on the highway, understanding these options empowers you to use Bitcoin more effectively. But it's more than just efficiency, isn't it?
Exactly. It really highlights how Bitcoin is constantly evolving, pushing the boundaries of what's possible with digital currency.
Absolutely. And Taproot, in particular, opens up some truly exciting possibilities with its support for smart contracts.
Right. We touched on smart contracts earlier, but I think it's worth diving a little deeper here.
Okay, sure.
So give me the rundown. What can smart contracts actually do?
Think of it this way. Imagine you're buying a house. Traditionally, that involves a ton of paperwork, lawyers, banks, middlemen.
Oh, tell me about it.
But with smart contracts on the Bitcoin blockchain, you could potentially automate that entire process. The contract terms are coded in, and the funds are transferred automatically once all the conditions are met.
Wow, that's a whole new level of efficiency and transparency. No more escrow nightmares or mountains of paperwork.
Precisely. And that's just one example. Smart contracts have the potential to revolutionize everything from supply chain management to voting systems.
So if Segwit was like upgrading our phones, Taproot and smart contracts are like stepping into a whole new digital dimension. It's giving me like a glimpse into the future of finance.
You got it. And it's a future where transactions are faster, cheaper, more secure, and even more private.
Okay, so for our listener out there who is now like buzzing with excitement about the future of Bitcoin, what's the key takeaway here?
The evolution of Bitcoin addresses, from Legacy to Segwit to Taproot, isn't just a technical detail. It's a testament to Bitcoin's continuous improvement and its potential to revolutionize how we think about and interact with money.
I love that. It's not just about the tech, it's about the possibilities it unlocks.
Exactly. As you continue your Bitcoin journey, keep an eye on those addresses. They're a small but powerful indicator of the exciting things happening in the world of cryptocurrency.
And who knows, maybe someday you'll be the one inventing the next groundbreaking Bitcoin address type.
Now, wouldn't that be something?
It sure would. Well, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive. Big thanks to you for breaking down the intricacies of Bitcoin addresses and for giving us a glimpse into the future.
Always a pleasure.
And to our listener, keep exploring, keep learning, and we'll catch you in the next deep dive.